Thank you for joining me for our stance basics. So the next stance that I'd like to show in our evenly weighted is not actually from Tai Chi. However, I have seen it show up in one of my favorite Qigong forms that we will be covering on this channel. It actually comes from ballet, of all things, and I never really thought I would find myself doing ballet, but this particular stance, although it is not Tai Chi, it is excellent at creating something that is vital for Tai Chi, and that is our hip alignment. So, and it's not too much of a deviation from what we have been doing, which is evenly weighted parallel stances. The last one we did was standing at attention. So that is heels together, ankles together, toes still slightly splayed. Sorry, I'll step forward a bit here. All right. Everything else the same as we have been doing. Tall through the top of the head, shoulders relaxed, arms down at our side, middle fingers along the seams of our pants, standing up straight, but not locked, not rigid, just standing up straight, tall through the top of our head. Everything else hangs down. Relaxing our breath, not worrying about too much stuff, hanging out here for a few minutes, and just scanning our body, seeing how it feels, really refining our sense of center, left and right, front, back, working on our balance, reestablishing all that stuff. Now to get from here to ballet first position, all we do is move out our toes. And you don't have to do it in one motion like that. You can go tip, 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 tip. All right? And what we're going to do is we're only going to rotate our legs out as much as our knees will allow. So we don't spend a lot of time with this external rotation in our day-to-day lives. In the modern world, lots of office desks and stuff like that, and not really having to move our legs in these sorts of unusual ranges. So we're not going to have maximum flexibility right out of the way, right out of the gate, and we're not going to be like, that's pretty wide for me. Anyways, so what we're going to do is we're going to start slowly rotating out our toes until we can start to feel the insides of our knees here start going like they just keep on wanting to pull our legs back in the other direction. So when we feel our knees pulling in as we want to twist our legs out, we're at our limit. And that's where we are. That's totally fine. If your limit is, okay, that's attention. If that's your limit right now, totally cool, right? In Tai Chi, we're always working up to the edge of uncomfortable, getting comfortable there, and pushing that edge a little bit further. So if it's only a couple of centimeters you're rotating your feet out, totally cool. If you can go further than that, like I say, just do it like millimeter by millimeter till you get to the point where our knees start to feel like they want to go the other way. They want to resist. They want to pull in. So from there, we're usually going to find that our legs are slightly bent. To get into first position, all we do is stand up. Bringing our knees together, standing up nice and straight. Now we're in first position. Everything else is the same as all of our Tai Chi stuff. Shoulders back, arms down at our side, tall through the top of the spine. But what we're going to find is because our femurs are rotated out in a more extreme fashion than we're used to, what that's going to do is that is going to push our pelvis into strict alignment. And this is probably going to feel pretty weird to start off with. However, this is just an awesome practice for our Tai Chi because this particular pelvis alignment that this stance creates is the pelvis alignment that we want. From here, hang out and get comfortable. Just like all of our other stances, when you can do 3 to 5 minutes like this, you're doing awesome. You don't really need to do it all the time, a lot. Once you get comfortable in this, just throw it in here and there, check yourself on it. Make sure that you are not falling forward, leaning back on your heels, that you aren't cheating yourself one direction or the other. Everything is staying nice and balanced. From here, if you want the extra workout, and I totally recommend that you do, you can plie. So that would be the first thing that you would learn in ballet class from here, is to bend the knees, allow the knees to go out in the same direction as your toes, and then from here, simply bring your knees in together, standing up nice and tall, feeling that pelvis alignment. For most of us, it's probably going to feel like the pelvis is getting shoved forward, like we're cramping in, our lower back area, until we get used to that external rotation. And from here, you can just bend and straighten, bend and straighten. Always keep focused on being tall through the top of the head. So as we bend down, we travel straight along that center line. As our legs straighten, we go back up. Bend our legs, we go straight down. Straighten our legs, we go straight back up on that center line. If we want to coordinate our breath, even better still. We're going to do that a lot. In the future, is going to be a lot of breath coordination. So we might as well start now. And if we want to do that, as we descend, we would breathe in. And as we ascend, we breathe out. Breathe in, descend. Breathe out. Breathe in, ascend. Breathe out, ascend. And I got those confused because the furnace kicked on. Sorry about that. If you hadn't figured out, we are in a basement, and we will continue to be until, well, we get some upgrades. Thank you for joining me on this one. We are going to start working on some proper Mabu for the next class, but so far I think this is going to give you a bunch of things to work on. Again, get comfortable, 3 to 5 minutes in each one of those, especially the last one. Once you get comfortable in ballet first position, see if you can start repping out some pliés there. You don't have to do the same thing I did with my hands. It just sort of feels right to do it, so I do it. But if you got something you like to do for yourself, go for it. This is a Tai Chi and Qigong class, not a ballet class, so I don't care about the particulars of what your arms are doing during a proper plie. I do care about your hip position though. So get comfortable putting your hips in that sort of alignment and see how that changes your other previous stances as well. Make sure you go back to those, and because this hip alignment that we're doing in first position and plie is the same thing we're going to use in basically all of our stances and all of our Tai Chi forms and everything going forward. So do enjoy. Thank you for joining me on this one.